Hey, people. I wasn't joking. That's where I spent this last donation. And that might look like a lot of food, but that's 2 days worth of food for me. I'll take half of that home and eat it tomorrow. I got reprimanded for not wearing the right shirt when I got there. That was the other Mexican joint I go to. So I come back and I looked at my Facebook after drinking that fishbowl margarita. And I saw this picture come up from this group, Art, History, and Archaeology. It had this underneath it. It says Christ is a gardener in 1507. And it was posted by this Maurice Stefanowski. I'm not too sure if that's Polish or if that's Italian. And he calls himself a fine artist and a teacher and been teaching the Renaissance techniques. And he's really a poor teacher. But if you look, a quick look at this, and it's not gardening. He's holding a spade here and a little urn, and he's digging up a mandrake. You see mandrakes and blackberries here. You know, this is a mandrake, and it's an ancient plant used in witchcraft. And you look at the way her hands are wrapped to pray. This is the way you pray when you're pleading. You got your fingers wrapped up. Oh, please, please, please. And you look in the back and you see she's got her hands in a different form here. And she's giving thanks over here. And this was painted in 1507. See, in 1611 is when King James came out, and he removed the thought process. Before that, people were reading the Hebrew and the Greek Bibles, and people understood what they were looking at. But this is the story here in Genesis 30 is what you're looking at. And saw Rachel that she had bore no children. And so this is Rachel with no children, pleading to God, please, please send me children. And so she pleaded to God, and she gave her maidservant Bilhah to go into her and bear a child so she could have a child with him. And conceived Bilhah and bore Jacob a son, and called his name Dan. And he was called Dan because he was Danny, has judged my case, Danny. And then conceived again, and called his name Naphtali for wrestling. You see this word for wrestling, because I have wrestled, Naphtali. So I called him Naphtali. So all the names have a meaning. And saw Leah that she had stopped bearing. So she gave Zipporah, her maidservant, to Jacob. And Jacob went into Zipporah and called his name Gad. Gad means fortunate. Gad, fortunate. So that you lost all the thought process. In the King James, nobody knows how to think anymore. You have no teachers. And then in the days of harvest, Reuben went into the forest, and he found mandrakes, the dudays, 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 and brought them to Leah. And so that's what you're looking at. You're looking at Leah and the maidservant giving thanks with the new baby. And you can see the other sons and Jacob and Laban out here in the day of harvest. And this is Reuben. This is not Christ. And this is Rachel begging for a son. And they're digging up the dudays, the mandrakes. And so they got most of these words twisted in here. But please, please give me some mandrakes. And this is the hand of plead. This is the hand of thanks, hand of plead. Back in the day before King James, there was no Christ. This is a King James invention. It was spelled X-R-I-S-T. In the book of James, there was no James either. That was the book of Jacob, J-A-K-O-B. At that time, the XRI, everything starting with the XR, was your adversaries, was your enemies, mine enemies. All these words here, these are all XR in the enemies, in your distress, in your affliction, the chiros, the adversaries. The XR is your adversary, your enemy, a foe. It wasn't until King James that this Chiro become the Christ. And they know what's up. You can see that look peeking around it. He knows what he's doing. These Chiros, they was your enemies. They was working for the king collecting taxes. Nobody liked to see them coming. They were trying to rule the world. All these lizard people are in cahoots to keep you ignorant. They run the schools. They put these teachers out here with false information. They think they're doing good, and they have no idea that they're just spreading lies to cover up the history. And the true history is we used to have knowledge of plants that would affect the due day because these people are all about astrology. In order for her baby to become king, he had to be born on the right day. When you're gardening, you don't wear your gold lace wear out there. And it's a dirty job. You surely don't put your hand on the head of the queen wearing the gold lace. And just because you see a picture of somebody with long hair and a beard, that doesn't mean it's Jesus. It just means he's Jewish. And he's an astrologer medicine man. It's all the same thing back in the day. And they're casting a spell with this mandrake. Alright, I'm going to cut this off here. Good day.